Hey everybody, welcome to the February edition of Marvel Puzzle Quest Question and Answers. We're here at Demiurge Studios. My name is Will. I'm the lead designer on MBQ, and we'll go around and introduce ourselves.
Sure, I'm Miles. I'm also a designer on MPQ.
I'm Jay. I'm a character artist on MPQ.
And I'm Casey. I'm a content designer here at MPQ.
So we went to the forums and pulled some of the highest voted questions and some of the ones we thought were the most interesting, and we're going to talk about them for the next 15 minutes or so. So let's get started. Our first question, the great thing about having collected these questions about 2 weeks ago is that we've actually made some changes to the game and have some changes that are coming in really soon that address these questions, and this first one is one of them. So it's about, there have been rumors about a daily non-competitive story event or something else that helps with the transition from playing with 2-star characters into playing with 3-star characters. Can you provide any updates on this?
Yeah, so we launched Daily PvE a couple weeks ago. And
we call it
Deadpool's Daily Quest. Deadpool's Daily Quest. And yeah, it's that went through a lot of iteration time to get that right, and I think it came out in a great spot. And it's a daily event. You can log in and play to get a 3-star character. It requires a 3-star character. You can get another copy of that, so it helps ease that transition of powering up your characters that you have only one copy of to getting them to a more usable state.
Yeah, if you're on the forums, you probably know as much.
You don't need me to tell you what it is. Go play it every day.
Yeah.
But if you haven't checked it out, for some reason this video is your reintroduction to the game after being away for a little while, you definitely want to check it out. People, I've been really pleased with how people have receed it.
Yeah. I mean, how long's it been running now?
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks, and I've got like 10 extra 10 extra 3-stars. It's been great.
Yeah.
So our next question is sort of related to so we introduced Deadpool's Daily Quest because we've got a whole bunch more characters in the game than we used to, and this question is also sort of about that. And it's talking about with more higher rarity characters, or adding more 4-stars to the game. With more of those in the mix, are there any plans to increase the amount of ISO 8 that you need to level up your characters? And the answer to that is yes, we did with Deadpool's Daily Quest. We also
sounds familiar.
Sounds familiar. I know that's going to be a common refrain. We also increased the amount of ISO 8 that you get to level up your characters from daily rewards. And we're working on another change in that department that we're not quite ready to announce, but that you should be hearing about in the next month or so, probably. We haven't nailed it down, so I don't know exactly when that'll be coming. But we're working on another thing to help that out too. And the next question is related to that too, and I'll also answer that. That's about also with more characters coming to the game, there's more pressure on your roster slots, and so what have we been doing about that? One answer is Deadpool's Daily Quest. So that increases the number of hero points that's available to players, and particularly if you've already got if you've got most of the 3-stars, then you're pulling in on average about 375 more hero points every 2 weeks than you used to. We also increased the amount of hero points in daily rewards. We did that a little while ago, and
by a lot.
Yeah, we doubled it basically.
Yeah, so the cost of roster slots isn't going down.
The cost of roster slots is
but there's way more money for you to spend on them if you're just playing the game.
Yeah. We are making some we comprehensively reevaluated the pace at which you get new characters and new roster slots over the last month, and we're about to make a couple of changes to that for beginning players too. We're changing the prices up for the first 25 roster slots, and changing the rate at which you get new 2-star characters in versus mission rewards. We're lowering that slightly so that people don't get overwhelmed with 2-star characters, but we're keeping the total economic impact of that the same. So the average amount of ISO 8 that you're going to get from versus rewards remains the same. So that those changes probably won't affect most of the players who will be watching this, most of the players who are further into the game. The big change for you in relationship to roster slots is going to be those changes to Deadpool's Deal Quest and the daily rewards. Cool. We've got a question about, this is a common feature request we got, is people want to see when they've put up a shield in a versus event, they want to know what the cooldown timers are for all of the 3 different kinds of shields you can buy.
Yeah, and I think the good news is that we did this, right? And I think it's coming in R72.
Yeah, the next major release to the game will have this.
We'll have so you have your shields up, and you'll be able to tap on the shield button again and see, oh, I've got 6 hours left until I can buy the shield again. So that's coming. Look for it. Get excited.
These are the most interesting answers, but they're hopefully the most exciting. We're giving you what you want.
So easy. Yeah. Cool. So the next question is one that we get a lot. It's about. I'll just read it. We generally understand that tiles are generated randomly during a game. I think those quotes are there around randomly because it's computer and it's not like truly random like. Space static is random, but it's pretty random. However, that has not stopped many of us from anecdotally observing that there are periods when the AI seems to constantly get favorable cascades, or that friendly countdown tiles often seem to get cleared away. This could be explained by confirmation bias. Still, it would be nice if you could go on the record to settle any doubts and explain the game's tile generation process and whether there are situations where it is not totally random.
You nailed it. Confirmation bias. We really didn't want to answer this question because people think this all the time, and it is really just totally random. Whenever we need to drop a new tile, we roll a die. The computer rolls a die, and a random color tile pops out.
Funky 7-sided die.
Yeah, that's right. And it is really easy to get sucked into this idea of the computer's up to something, the computer's cheating. I sent an email to the entire team about 2 weeks ago asking if there was a bug in PvP where it was not dropping randomly anymore because I just got a really bad string of luck and I was sure there was a bug, but it was totally in my head. There are a couple places we actually do tweak the probabilities, but those are in what we call the FATUI, which is like the first time user experience, and that's when new players come in. We don't drop team up tiles because we haven't explained to them what team ups are yet. And we drop more reds because we want players to fire Iron Man's repulsor blast really quickly. But those are, 2-3 missions at the very beginning of the game, and then from there on, leave it to chance.
Yeah, it's on the first chapter.
Yeah, so it's totally in all of our heads, but it is random.
Yeah.
I hope that puts that to bed forever.
So here's a question about art, and we've got Jay here to answer it.
What up, Jay?
What's up, guys?
Jay's done almost all of the character.
I think like 60 something. Yeah.
Like a ton of characters.
Like 60 characters.
62 characters maybe. Out of the 65 or something.
And the question for you, Jay, is when deciding the artwork for a new character, are you allowed to use Marvel's previous works in comics, or do you have to start your own from scratch?
We basically do everything from scratch, but the designs come from Marvel, so we get basically approved art, and then build from that, like from scratch.
Yeah, and we we tend to figure out which version of the character we want to do, and we get some input from you. I know you have strong feelings about I don't want to draw this guy or I don't want to draw that guy.
Yeah.
And once we've got got an approved version, what's your process like?
I guess sort of visualizing basically that character in a movie set. I know this hasn't really been said before in the studio, but my process is okay, what would this guy look like in a movie setting, like a contemporary, Marvel film? A lot of the inspiration I draw is from Marvel films, so that's one of the things that comes out, I guess.
Cool. And sometimes that ends up adding little touches that are really great. If you guys have seen the new Iron Fist art, there's he's got some piping along his outfit that makes him look really cool and contemporary and a little more like a uniform than like a yoga jumpsuit or like something that on the page would look wouldn't be a problem with it when it's rendered in this 3D painting. It looks so much cooler.
Yeah, that was a touch. One of our other artists, Eric, he recommended that, and we went ahead and put it into the game, and it turned out looking great.
Yeah,
cool. Those character poses always look like so like super dynamic and full of emotion and motion. And I wonder, like, what are your tricks or what do you think about to try to like imbue those characters with all that life?
Choice of music, I think. Like sometimes I'll go through, I don't know, a kind of music like Tool or like Skrillex or something, and the poses will come out very dynamic and aggressive. Other times I'll go with like maybe Bjork or something for Squirrel Girl or I don't know. I mean, music does have a lot of influence.
that's really interesting.
So,
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah. I wonder if we should start releasing playlists for our characters.
And we've released a bunch of cool process videos of Jay painting stuff. So those are up on our blog, and I think they've been linked to in the forums if you want to check them out. They're really cool to see how these things come together.
Yep.
Cool. Our next question is also about characters. It's about how do you decide which characters get multiple versions? Some of our characters are in the game just once, like Squirrel Girl, and some, like Storm, we have 3 different versions of Storm in the game. So the question is, how do we decide which characters get this treatment? And that's to you, Casey.
Cool. There's a bunch of factors that go into whether or not we want to spread a character across multiple rarities. The first is sort of like wow factor, right? Like if the character's really popular and really exciting, we want them to be all over the game. The big example there being Wolverine, right? Like no one wants to play a Marvel game where there's not much Wolverine. So he's got a 2-star, 3-star, and a 4-star. Something that I came on to Marvel Puzzle Quest after it had already launched, and chatting with Will about design, something he said to me was very interesting, which was characters have to be able to exist across every star rating. And that was a really good shift in my thinking, because I stopped thinking about like 1-star, 2-star, 3-star as like strictly more I almost said more better. Strictly better every time you go up in rarity. And really, they're just different versions of the same character. Mm-hmm. Like Iron Man Model 35 isn't like worse than Model 40. He might be in our game, but as a character, he's not. They're just at different rarities. And
the reason for that is that we want to make sure that as you're going through the game, if you're on like day 400 or day 10, that you're seeing characters that you know from all corners of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, and some characters, like there's also only can be so many characters in the game, right? We're already releasing a lot of characters, so we have to pick carefully about which characters we want to reintroduce as another rarity. And make sure they're really those popular, iconic Marvel characters. The other answer is sometimes there's just like a version we really want to do, and like we've got a couple more of these in the pipeline. I don't think I'm spoiling anything by saying that down the road at some point. And at least one of those is just like a version I'm really hyped to do. That's kind of a little bit of the reason why he's going to be in the game. Yeah.
Cool. Our last question is what are our favorite Marvel Puzzle Quest teams to play as? So maybe we'll just go down the line.
Oh, cool. So it depends. It depends on the mode. I have a different Horde mode team than I do standard team. But in general, for PvP, I like to bring whoever the Joint Forces character is, and lately I've been using a lot of Patch and a lot of Daredevil, because the 1-2 punch of Patch making a bunch of enemy strike tiles and then Daredevil wiping them out and dealing a bunch of damage is like super powerful. You can like KO most characters in 2 little ability fires, but that's been my favorite so far lately.
Yeah, I've been using a lot of Magneto and Storm Classic, and also Thor Modern. Just because, like, Magneto powers Storm, and then Thor just seems to get all the other colors, and they're just like a huge attack team.
Cool.
Like, yeah.
I just blew my game up on the live servers
Oh, yeah,
and
that's
started over like 2 weeks ago. No one else can understand how I do this, but I need to. I do that so that I can understand what the like beginner experience is like for players, because we've got so many experts in the studio. I want to make sure I'm keeping an eye out on what the game is like for players who are just joining the game now. So right now I am rolling with Magneto Marvel now, mostly just because I got lucky and got all of his abilities really quick in the first 10 days I started playing, and Storm because she's on other colors, and then I've got like a Dakin that I'm working on and an Iron Man that swap back and forth for the third role.
You said Storm, you meant Storm Modern, like 1-star.
The 1-star Storm, yeah.
She's really powerful for a 1-star.
She's a great 1-star.
Yeah.
And then when I'm playing, I also play the game a bunch on our like QA servers in the office, and that's like a weird place to play because I can cheat myself anything I want. So it feels a little different than when I'm playing on the live servers. And so for me, it's not about who's like most powerful or effective, but what I most enjoy playtesting with are the characters that like most capture the characters or tell really cool stories. So in those situations, if I'm just going in and testing a battle or something, I really enjoy playing with like Colossus or Loki, whose abilities I think capture the feeling of those characters for me.
Nice. I actually have a similar thing as I was when we were developing Cyclops. I was playtesting him a lot on our own servers, and like Will said, you can just cheat and give yourself whatever you want. But I
because we are not. I want to make this clear. We are not allowed to do that on the live server. Like I have fought and scraped for every live 3-star I have.
When I blew up my game, everything actually went away. All the money I spent, all the characters I worked on.
I don't know how you do that.
We don't get any special favors.
But I got really hooked on this team of Cyclops and Mystique and Magneto Marvel now. Churning black, purple, and blue and cycling that way, and then having Cyclops there to have a big blast of black that he can wipe out the enemy team with. And I am fighting furiously on the live servers to get my team to that. And I've got Mystique shaping up really well. I've had Magneto Marvel now for a while, and I just fought tooth and nail for some Cyclops covers, and I'm excited to get some more.
Cool. That's all we got here for today. So thanks so much for tuning in, and thanks for playing. And we will see you around in maybe about a month.
Sweet.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.